This sport has some of the most exciting moments there are, with crazy knockouts and unique submissions at every single event. There are tons of fighters that I like to watch, but here are the #1 most exciting fighters from every single division in the UFC. We always do ladies first for everything else in life, but this video is for the boys. So we're going to start with the men's flyweight division. The flyweights, a division that was at one point so dead, Dana White admittedly wanted to shut it down. So this division may have some tiny guys and a slightly lower finish rate than the other divisions, but there's still some exciting fighters here. And for me, it was a close race between a few guys, but I'm gonna go with Raw Dog Brandon Royval. He's a wild man in there, and even some of his losses have been super exciting. He has a finish or be finished rate of 67%. You were sure to see someone bleed when the Raw Dog goes deep. And I'm hyped for the upcoming fight between Royval and Tyra. I think that will be sick, and I can't wait to see how that one plays out. And the Bantamweight division. This one was easy for me, and it's the Sugar Show, Sean O'Malley. He may not be the most skilled guy in the division, and if not for a hand-picked matchup with Cheeto, he may have been a one-hit wonder as a champion. But the dude is electric. Not only does he have the star power and make fight weeks feel like big-time matchups, but he has the style and skill inside the octagon to back it up with the pre-fight energy. He's got power in both of his hands, and his kicks are great. He puts together really solid combinations, good movement, and within the UFC, he's had 7 highlight reel KOs and 2 crazy decision wins. Yeah, the win against Jan was a win, and he had an absolute dog walking against Cheeto Vera. The Munoz fight, was an eye poke. So if we don't count that one, 9 of his 11 fights have been super exciting. So I have to give it to Sugar Sean O'Malley. For featherweight, this was another easy one for me, and I got to give it to the champ, Ilia Topuria. With crisp boxing and the power to put anyone out with one punch, I think he's as exciting as they come. Not to mention he's well-rounded, and he threw Bryce Mitchell across the octagon like Bryce throws hay bales. He's had 7 fights in the UFC, and 6 of them have been TKOs. And he had an absolute beatdown of Josh Emmett, so that one was super exciting too. So whether it's ground and pound TKO or a one-shot snipe like he caught Volk or Jai Herbert with, he's must-see TV. In the comments below, who do you think is the most exciting fighter in the UFC? The lightweight division. This might be my favorite weight class, and it's an absolute meat grinder up and down, and even outside of the top 15. There's a lot of unranked guys that are really fun as well. So there was a lot of names to choose from here. Don't kill me. I want to give a shout out to Justin Gaethje, because, I always tune in. He gives the people what they want, win or lose. But I've got to go with the guy who has the most finishes in UFC history with 20 finishes, and that's Charles Oliveira. He's had an insane 33 fights in the UFC, and he has 23 finishes. He's #1 in submissions. It should have been, he has 16. It should have been 17 with Tony. How did Tony not tap to those submissions? But in the last 4 years, all of his career has been absolutely exciting as hell. He's done nothing but push the pace and put on a show. He's been rocked multiple times, came back to win. He went airborne, backpacked on Chandler, and got flashed, was able to come back. Same thing against Justin Poirier and Gaethje. So he's my pick for featherweight. The welterweight division, 170. And this is the Nomad, Shavkat Rakhmonov. And it's not even close. He literally has a 100% finish rate, not only in his UFC career, but in his entire pro MMA career. He's got 18 wins, 18 finishes. Not only does he finish, but it's in a variety of ways. So, it's even exciting. How's he going to do it? He's got 10 KOs and 8 subs. He keeps you on the edge of your seat. The standing RNC in the fight with Jeff Neal had me absolutely hyped, and I can't wait to see what's next for the Nomad. Is it Bilal? Are we getting JDM? I'm excited either way. Shavkat Rakhmonov. Welterweight, most exciting fighter. And middleweight, we're at 185. And honestly, this one was tough for me. There's not necessarily a standout exciting fighter. There's a lot of good guys in here, but, Adesanya has some sleepers. Sean Strickland can sometimes put on some sleepers. And I may be a victim of the present here, but I'm going to go with Still Knox, Dricus du Plessis. Am I picking him because he has an absolutely huge fight with Izzy coming up? Maybe that's coming into play here, and recency bias is in my mind. But Dricus has had some super entertaining fights, and I think for me it's a combination of him looking like he's about to absolutely gas and is on the edge of losing, and also his ability to just throw caution to the wind and be reckless. He throws combinations, he looks to finish, and I think if we put all those things together, he just gives a really frenetic, frantic style that I think is exciting to watch. And not to mention, he has real KO power. We've seen some nasty finishes. You know, the KO against Whitaker still makes me sad. Bobby Knuckles, no! So for the middleweight division, I gotta go with Still Knox, Dricus du Plessis. And in this division, we have two people that are very, very tough for me to choose from. We have the current champion, Alex Pereira Poatan. Incredibly, incredibly exciting. He finishes at 185, he finishes at 205, and he just knocked out the other guy, Yuri Prochazka. And I'm going to go off script. I actually have a whole, bullet points written down about what I wanted to talk about Alex Pereira and how exciting he is. But I'm going to go with Yuri Prochazka. And this is just spur of the moment. But as I was thinking about these two earlier this morning, I'm never going to miss a Yuri Prochazka fight. And the best way that I can put it is that it's kind of like a car crash. It's kind of like a horror movie. You know, you're scared to watch it. You don't know what's going to happen. Could he win? Could he lose? I don't know. But either way, there's going to be carnage. And he's crazy. He's unorthodox. Even though the build-up to fight weeks, I think, are pretty exciting. He throws caution to the wind. He absolutely goes in there to finish. And Yuri Prochazka is my light heavyweight, most exciting fighter, off script. And last up for the men, we got the big boys. And this is the heavyweight division. And these fights can go two ways. We can get absolute snooze fest, or someone is getting their head punched completely off their body. And for me, the obvious answer here is the champ, Tom Aspinall. With a well-rounded game and multiple different ways to finish, Tom doesn't move like a heavyweight. He's bouncy, he's fluid. He can get into range and quickly go into takedowns, or he can just drop nukes. He has 9 fights in the UFC and 8 finishes. And he also, at the moment, has the shortest average fight time in UFC history with 2 minutes and 10 seconds. And actually, I wrote this before he fought with Curtis Blades, so that's probably significantly lower at this point because that was only around a minute. So, I mean, don't go run to get any snacks when Tom's in the first round, because if his career and if history has shown us something, it's that he finishes quick.
That's what she said?
So for the heavyweights, obvious answer, Tom Aspinall, most exciting guy in the division. All right, headed to the ladies. Let's talk about the ladies MMA side. And we'll start at strawweight. And we'll see what the next few years looks like, but she's fast approaching, an all-time resume. And honestly, I love watching her fight. She's probably my favorite female fighter. And my pick for most exciting strawweight has to go to the champ, Zhang Weili. She's really technical, but also her wrestling scrambles are very, very fun to watch, in my opinion. And now I know these weight classes with the women, this one and the next one, are, sometimes a little bit slower of a finish rate. And these girls are smaller. And because they're smaller, the KO rate is the lowest of any division in the strawweight division. But Zhang has fast hands, and even her kicks crack. She punches. The spinning back fist of JJ was exciting as it gets. And I also really like that she embraces the scramble. There's usually a lot of fun back and forth in the grappling and the wrestling with her. And when she wants to take the fight there, she is going to take the fight there. I think she is the strawweight most exciting fighter. And flyweight. Honestly, this one was tough for me to pick. In recent memory, there's been some really good fights, but competitive fights, I don't know if they've really been super exciting in this division. And I went with Bullet. She has crisp striking. She loves to stand up and throw hands. I remember seeing that Jessica KO live, and it was vicious. I sat there on the ground for what, seemed like forever. She's able to get that kick up there so fast. But this division was surprisingly sparse, and I was surprised by that, but Bullet was the only conclusion I could come to. So for flyweight, I'm going to go with Valentina Shevchenko as the most exciting fighter. And for bantamweight, Nunes, please come back out of retirement and give this division some life. We saw a pretty exciting fight with Macy Chiasson opening up a nasty cut on Bueno Silva. But to me, the person that I'm really excited about to see in this division right now is Kayla Harrison. I really think she's just going to ragdoll everyone and get subs. And I hope that maybe after her next fight, Nunes will come back and give us one more fight, because that would be a fun one. But Kayla's judo trips are amazing. Her subs are amazing. She's probably the strongest, most imposing figure in this women's bantamweight division. And I know she's put on some lackluster performances as far as excitement goes in the PFL, but I'm hoping she can continue to get finishes in the UFC, and she is a breath of fresh air for this division with Nunes retiring. So my women's most exciting bantamweight fighter is Kayla Harrison. Not a division anymore. We're talking about who is the #1 overall most exciting fighter in the UFC. And I've got to give it to the baddest man on the planet. Yes, not you, John Jones. I'm talking about the real champ, Tom Aspinall. He did it again against Blades, as I mentioned earlier. And you cannot go to the bathroom. You cannot get a drink. You know, you can't even drop your phone off the couch and reach down to pick it up because Tom Aspinall is gonna sleep somebody. And because Tom is always like one combination away from finishing fights, I'm glad that everyone is enjoying this heavyweight run and giving him his shine because I'm super happy that we have a heavyweight champ that is tearing it up and making the division exciting again. We finally have some good matchups. Will we ever see John fight Tom? I don't know. I'm really leaning towards no at this point, but I'm just excited that we have a guy that's putting on a show, that's putting people to sleep, and that's really bringing the excitement to what can be a boring, slow division. So thank you, Tom Aspinall. You are my #1 most exciting fighter in the UFC. If you enjoyed this video and you enjoyed the UFC, I know you'll like my channel. So check out these videos and subscribe for more UFC related content.